yet the another session of questions and answers. This session is going to be all about the questions what you ask. I will try to quench the thirst of your all questions, whatever queries and questions you have related to spoken English, and the English language. I will try to solve all of your questions. This is another live session. Every Sunday at 12 o'clock, I'm coming live. And I come live just because of this reason so that I can answer uh, to all of your queries. Most of you have some questions related to English. And sometimes we are not able to get the answer just because of this reason, because nobody is there to answer those all questions. So here we have made it possible for you so that you can ask your questions. I will answer. And you know what happens is generally, suppose somebody else has asked a question. That may be your question, which you may not be aware of, that this was my question as well. So this will be good for you as well. So keep attending the session till the last moment. And it'll be great for me to answer. Uh, and it'll be great for all of you to attend this session till the end. So you should keep attending the session properly. And please keep asking questions. From next Sunday, just make it a habit that keep your all queries in a notebook or on a piece of paper so that you can ask me those questions as well. It will be good for me as well, because when you ask questions and when I answer, I also learn more. That's what I believe in. And I always say to everybody that a teacher has to be a student first. A teacher has to be a student first, because of when a teacher is a student, he tries to learn more and more. And that's what going to happen today. So good afternoon everyone. Now please ask me the questions if you have any query, any question related to the English language. It'll be great. We have to be a little careful about it. Just before 12 we should say always good morning, and after 12 we should say good afternoon. We need to be a little more careful about it. Good afternoon everyone. I'll be glad if you ask me questions related to the English language now. Before you ask questions, I'd like to tell you that some of the things sometimes we are not aware of, and if we are even aware of, we do not use them. Most of us get hesitant in speaking because we don't practice it, and we are afraid of making mistakes before people. But we need to be a little more careful about this, that it doesn't matter we make mistakes while conversing with people, by communicating with people. It hardly matters. Some of you may be teachers, some of you may be students, some of you may be housewives, some of you may be uh, some professional or jobbers. But we all need to understand that more than English, the thing which matters is your communication. The well you communicate with people, the more you improve always. So you need to converse with people more and more. You need to communicate with people more and more so that you can come out of your hesitation and you become a very good speaker. Sir, in English, we say good morning when we meet a person for the first time on a day. See, I always tell people, it's a good question, Nishant sir. Uh, it's a personal perception of a person. Let me make it very clear, it is grammatically wrong. We should never ever say like this whenever we meet or meet with a person for the first time in a day. We should never ever greet good morning. Good morning should be greeted only before 12. We need to be very careful about it. And 12 to 4, we should always say good afternoon. After 4 o'clock, you can say good evening. But please be careful about it. Suppose you meet a person in the evening, so you should never ever say good morning at all. It may have been a person's perception. Somebody may have thought of it. किसी ने हो सकता है ऐसा सोचा होगा कि जब मिलो तब सवेरा. But it is actually wrong. And we should not follow this trend at all. We should always try to say according to the time. Like if it is evening, then good evening. If it is afternoon, then good afternoon. Only we need to be careful about this thing, that when it is said good afternoon, so your facial expression should be also good. That should be taken care of. Because sometimes when people say good morning or good afternoon or good evening, they do not have proper facial expressions, which actually spoils the communication. So we need to be a little more careful about our facial expressions also while greeting people or while wishing people. That should be taken care of, certainly. So I hope you must have understood that good morning should be said only in the morning. We should not say good morning in the evening or in the afternoon. We must be careful about this thing. Good to see everyone attending the session. I would appreciate if you ask questions related to the English language. Sometimes some questions do not click, but just make it a habit that from next Sundays, like at 12 o'clock, according to Indian time, uh, keep attending the session every Sunday so that you can ask questions. Because sometimes we do not get people who can solve our queries. So I'm here to solve all of your queries. Please try to keep asking questions, whatever questions you have related to the English language. Good afternoon, everyone. So, Nishant sir, I hope you must have understood. If you have any other question, please ask. And others also, if they have questions, then they must also ask. See, in communication, facial expressions do matter. I tell you, I was interviewed by a person, and that day I was unwell. I had said that I would not be able to come, but they insisted me on coming. I joined the session, and my eye contact was not proper since I was not well. So I was not able to keep an eye contact with the person. Now what happened is, like, the interview got over. It was posted on YouTube. I got in one of the I got in the comment box that you are not able to keep an eye contact. It is not a good thing. See, it is really good. We must understand this thing, that while talking to people, and I always, accept even negative comments, because they are not negative to me. This is actually feedback, and feedback can be positive, negative, both. If feedback was supposed to be only positive, then it is not meant to be actually a feedback. So we need to be careful about this thing, that when somebody gives you any negative comment, you should also appreciate that thing. I also wrote the answer. I said that yes, I will try to take care. I will be also more careful about this thing, that while conversing with people, I should maintain an eye contact with people, and that's what we should learn. So facial expressions do matter while communicating with people. We are not trained, we are not taught to have good facial expressions, but they are very important while communicating with everybody. So that's what we should be careful. And I hope you understand this, that while communicating with others, do take care of your facial expressions. Do not only worry about your grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, but also you should be careful about your facial expressions. This must be taken care of. People are not able to understand you sometimes just because of your words, because your facial expressions or your expressions do not go along with the sentences or with the words what you speak. So that's what we must be taking care, which is not that easy, I agree, but we need to practice. And after practicing, it will be easier for all of us to take care. Even I would request, suppose some of the things you do not like, and you do not agree to the things whatever I say here, you can even say that. That is not an issue. I will always take it for something positive, and I will always try to improve myself, because I always believe in one thing, that there is always a room for improvement in a person. If the person thinks that the person is perfect and there is no room for improvement, then I tell you one thing: you are not going to get succeeded at all in your life. I have seen a lot of people in my life, whenever I used to nag, whenever I used to say that please improve this thing in you, either they used to take some revenge, or they would say no to me to neg them again in the future. Why? Because they do not want to improve. They do not like to be nagged. They do not like to be spoken to them about their something negative points, which is not good. We should always accept and admit our mistakes or blunders, whatever we make. Sometimes, sometimes we may be correct. Sometimes we may not be correct. That happens certainly, and that is not a big thing. So we should be careful about this thing, that if somebody gives you some positive feedback or negative feedback, we should be always ready for it. As I am always ready. I always try to accept and admit the things, whatever I make. Sometimes I may not be correct. So it is okay. That's not a problem. But learning never stops here. Learning never stops here. See, it is always said in English. Last Sunday also I used this expression that curiosity does not always kill the rat. We should be curious. We should try to learn new things. We should try to adapt the situation, whatever situation we live into. Situation or situation, both are correct. Situation or situation, both are correct. You can use either situation or situation. Uh, Sir, give me some advice how do I improve my grammar skills? First of all, Saloni ma'am, please take care of your grammar spelling. Grammar. It is not Grammer. We all must be careful about this thing, that it is always Grammar. As far as advice word is concerned, we should know this thing that सलाह जो होती है उसको इंग्लिश में advice भी कहा जाता है और advice भी कहा जाता है. I've already made a video on this. जब एक्शन की तरह या वर्ब की तरह यूज होता है तो वो ADVISE होता है, और जब नॉन एक्शन की तरह यूज होता है तो ADVICE यूज होता है. बट हियर वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल कि एक सलाह को कभी भी एन एडवाइस नहीं कहा जाता, नहीं वन एडवाइस कहा जाता है. ये हमेशा अ पीस ऑफ एडवाइस होता है या टू पीसेस ऑफ एडवाइस. और अगर आप अ पीस ऑफ या टू पीसेस ऑफ यूज नहीं करना चाहते हैं, यू कैन यूज सम एडवाइस, और नॉर्मली यू कैन से गिव मी एडवाइस, which is absolutely correct. See, how do you improve your grammar skills? We need to understand that why we want to improve our grammar. There is a way which we did in our school days, or which we do in our school days, that we learn grammar theoretically. Whatever things are there uh, in the books, we cram them up and then we try to use them, which is actually very difficult because it takes a lot of time to improve our grammar. If we want to improve our grammar, we need to listen to people very carefully, observe others, try to, if possible for you, try to write or note down those sentences which you generally speak in your day to day life. See, we need to work hard ultimately. If you think that without working hard we're going to learn something, it is not possible. So we need to work hard certainly. So we can write those sentences, what we speak, where we think that we may be wrong, we may be mistaken. So we write those sentences, and then you can take the advice of some expert person, or you can check in Google if possible for you. And otherwise, I am there. Or what you can start doing, since I am going to give you live sessions every Sunday. So try to write those sentences where you feel that you may be wrong, or you even think that it may be correct or may not be correct. Just write those sentences and ask those questions or sentences in the live sessions. So I will answer. See, most of the things will be improved by this. Or then you can work on your models, you can work on your clauses, you can work on your tenses if you want to actually improve your grammar and synthesis. The things which are used more, first you work on them, then try to find out gerunds or prepositions or articles uh, that can be done afterwards. First, you need to work on the sentence framing. Sentence framing may be wrong sometimes, so it doesn't matter. You do not need to worry about it. First of all, you need to be careful that you should start speaking with people. You should talk to people more and more, because when you start talking to people more and more, sometimes we observe by listening also to others. Suppose I have spoken. Now, please understand this thing. Suppose I have spoken. Uh, if I would have been invited, I would have attended the party. Fine. I've just spoken, and I had no idea that I am correct or I am wrong. Now what I can do, when somebody speaks to me or talks to me, suppose somebody has spoken, if I had been invited, I would have attended the party. Now the question arises, because I know, if we use would have, but somebody has used had, now we may be confused that that person is correct or I am correct. So these situations generally happen with us, but we need to be ready to improve ourselves. See, there is nothing wrong in asking questions from people. First of all, you should understand, sometimes we do not improve ourselves because we restrain ourselves by asking questions from others. If you're able to ask the question from that person, the person who has spoken the another sentence, then it is okay. If you're not able to ask, then you can ask me this question, I will answer. So by this way, at least most of the things will be improved. And if you want to improve your grammar, Ren and Martin books are there related to grammar, which you can read. Try not to read the books which are in English and Hindi both. Try to read the books which are only in English, because sometimes we get confused by reading those books and we try to translate always sentences. We do not feel the sentences. We try to translate the sentences. Like I speak, मैं खाना खाता हूँ. So I will always translate I take food because खाता हूँ is there. It is wrong. But we need to understand that why a person says मैं खाना खाता हूँ, because he wants to indicate this, that this work is done in his life regularly, very oftenly. That's why he says this thing. So you, when you read any book which is only in the English language, you improve more and in a proper way. If you want to improve your only grammatical skills, then I'm telling you that will be helpful in that case. Where to be used, probably or maybe words. See, probably or maybe, both are absolutely correct. शायद के सेंस में ये यूज होता है, प्रोबेबली अप्रोक्सीमेटली के सेंस में ज्यादा यूज होता है कि लगभग लगभग उतना रहेगा. मे बी बहुत वाइड टर्म में यूज होता है. मे बी के साथ एक चीज और है कि अगर आप मे बी को एक साथ यूज करते हैं तो इसमें स्पेस नहीं आता. मे बी आई विल कम, पहले ये ग्रामेटिकली गलत माना जाता था, हालांकि कुछ ग्रामर की बुक्स में इसको मेंशन किया गया है. लोग ये कहते हैं कि मे बी आई विल कम की जगह ज्यादा अच्छा है कि बोले आई मे कम. That is more appropriate. But maybe I will come is also correct. So maybe is used more while talking to people in place of using probably. तो शायद के सेंस में ये दोनों सेंस ज्यादा यूज होते हैं. Action or work, Nishant sir has asked, which should be used for continuous task. Okay. uh, Daily chores, doing since past, doing at present, or going to do in future. uh, See, you have asked so many things. Could you please elaborate that what actually you want to ask, Nishant sir? Tina ma'am, good afternoon. Where we use that kind of forms, have, had, has, had. Okay. See, have और हैज तो थर्ड पर्सन के लिए यूज होता है इन प्लेस ऑफ यूजिंग हैव कहाँ यूज होता है? हैव एक तो यूज होता है हैव जब आप किसी भी, अब हैव को भी समझना पड़ेगा. हैव एक तो टाइम वर्ड यानी ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब की तरह यूज होता है. हैव के बाद हमेशा वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म आएगी. अगर किसी भी काम को करने का इफेक्ट लेफ्ट है तब हैव यूज किया जाता है. किसी भी काम को करने का एक्सपीरियंस है तब भी हैव यूज किया जाता है. थर्ड पर्सन की बात करेंगे तो इन प्लेस ऑफ यूजिंग हैव वी ऑलवेज यूज हैज. लाइक आई हैव टेकन फूड, सो आई मीन टू से मेरा खाना हो गया है, खत्म हो गया है, फिनिश हो गया है, समय बाकी है इसलिए आई हैव टेकन फूड बोला. एक जब आप अनुभवी एक्सपीरियंस बताते हैं कि मैंने बर्फी खाई हुई है, या आई वांट टू टेल पीपल दैट मैंने पेट पाला हुआ है तो आई हैव केप्ट अ पेट. या अगर मान लीजिए मैं किसी को बताना चाहता हूँ कि मैं अजमेर गया हुआ हूँ, आई हैव बीन टू अजमेर, सो नाउ आई वांट टू टेल पीपल दैट इफेक्ट है, मेरे पास अनुभव है, एक्सपीरियंस है अजमेर जाने का. सो तब हैव यूज किया जाता है. थर्ड पर्सन के लिए बात करेंगे तो हैज यूज किया जाएगा. हैव एक्शन की तरह वर्ब की तरह भी यूज होता है. जैसे कुछ भी खाना पीना टेक है, कुछ भी खाना पीना हैव भी होता है. लाइक चाय पीना टेक थी, चाय पीना, हैव टी। सो अगर मैं चाय पीता हूँ, आई हैव टी। अब यहाँ पर मुझे ये ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, अगर मैंने चाय पी ली है तो आई हैव हैड टी, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हैव के बाद एक्शन की थर्ड फॉर्म आती है। चाय पीना हैव टी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, तो आई हैव हैड टी। नाउ एज पर हैड इज कंसर्न्ड, सी एक तो हैव, जो हैड है वो हैव की सेकंड फॉर्म है। एक हैड यूज होता है पास्ट परफेक्ट टेंस के रूप में। अगर हम लोग पास्ट परफेक्ट टेंस के रूप में यूज करेंगे तो इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड कहाँ हैड यूज होता है। अक्सर लोग इसमें गलतियां करते हैं। हैड बेसिकली यूज होता है जब आप दो काम पास्ट में करते हैं। नाउ प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस, अगर आपने एक ही काम पास्ट में किया और इसका इफेक्ट लेफ्ट नहीं है, तो हम लोग पास्ट इंडेफिनिट के सेंस में उसको यूज करेंगे। पर अगर आपने दो काम पास्ट में किए, तो जो काम पहले होता है उसमें हैड और एक्शन की थर्ड फॉर्म लगाई जाती है, वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म लगाई जाती है। जैसे आपके आने से पहले मैंने खाना खा लिया था, सो आई हैड टेकन फूड बिफोर यू अराइव्ड। तो अब मैंने क्या किया कि हेड को जो दो काम हुए उसमें पहले यूज किया। आप इस तरीके से भी बोल सकते हैं, यू अराइव्ड आफ्टर आई हैड टेकन फूड। यू अराइव्ड आफ्टर आई हैड टेकन फूड। इस सेंस में भी हैड वाला काम पहले ही हुआ है, यानी खाना पहले हो गया और आप बाद में आए, तब हैड यूज किया जाता है। अदरवाइज प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, जबरदस्ती हम हैड का इस्तेमाल नहीं करते हैं। मैं कभी भी सिंगल सेंटेंस के रूप में आई हैड टेकन फूड नहीं बोल सकता हूं, अनलेस आई वांट टू मेक इट वेरी क्लियर कि ये पहले हो गया था। अनलेस आई वांट टू मेक इट वेरी क्लियर, so I should be careful about this thing. I hope Saloni ma'am, you must have understood. I have already uploaded a video on YouTube related to have, had, and has. So you can listen to that video also. I have elaborated it in a proper way. You can understand by listening to that video more. Can we use word procrastinate in place of don't put off the work? See, पहली बात तो ये ध्यान रखिएगा, ये है put off, OFF, off. पुट ऑफ द वर्क एंड प्रोक्रास्टिनेट दोनों ही सही हैं। किसी भी काम को टालना पुट ऑफ द वर्क भी होता है, किसी भी काम को टालना प्रोक्रास्टिनेट भी होता है। ज्यादातर लोग प्रोक्रास्टिनेट इसलिए यूज करते हैं क्योंकि प्रोक्रास्टिनेट करने वाला व्यक्ति, जिसकी हैबिट में आ चुका है कि वो हर काम को टालता है। आज नहीं मैं कल करूंगा, कल नहीं मैं परसों करूंगा, अभी नहीं मैं थोड़ी देर बाद करूंगा। तो ऐसे लोगों को प्रोक्रास्टिनेटर्स कहा जाता है। पर पुट ऑफ द वर्क करने वालों का कोई नाम नहीं होता है। तो आप इसलिए पुट ऑफ द वर्क की जगह पर ज्यादातर प्रोक्रास्टिनेट यूज करते हैं। प्रोक्रास्टिनेट जिसकी हैबिट में हो जाए करना, वो प्रोक्रास्टिनेटर कहलाएगा। दैट पर्सन इज कॉल्ड प्रोक्रास्टिनेटर। आई होप इफ यू डू नॉट माइंड, आई मे टेक वाटर। सो यू मस्ट हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस थिंग। सो प्रोक्रास्टिनेट वर्ड ज्यादा यूज होता है इन प्लेस ऑफ यूजिंग पुट ऑफ द वर्क, फॉर लेटिंग पीपल नो। काम को टालने की जब बात की जाती है, देन वी यूज इट। I will confuse sir, that's why. Mamta ma'am, please ask me the question if you have. So I hope Saloni ma'am, you must have understood. Nishant sir, is that clear? Nishant sir, you asked me a question. You had asked me a question before this question. Action or work which should be used for continuous task. So could you please ask me again? I could not understand that. What was it all about? And others also, those who are joining me live, please ask me questions. You can ask me question in any way. I will try to explain. And always remember this thing. See, while attending these classes, one benefit is obviously going to be there of yours, that is listening. I always say in my classes that we all need to understand the importance of listening. We do not listen, we just want to speak. There are some people, they're only made to speak, but they do not listen to anybody. Listening is very important. So when you start listening to others, you tend to be very good speakers in the future. That's why it is always said a good listener is a good speaker. It is never said A good speaker is a good listener. So if you want to be very good speakers, first learn how to listen to people and teach everybody also. If you have got young kids at your home, please ask them to listen to everybody carefully. Because when you start listening, you start observing. And when you start observing, you learn more. We used to say, I work instead of I action. So I want to ask the same. See, it is the same. There is no difference. If you say I action uh, or I work, both are the same. There is no problem at all, Nishant sir. Only in two past sentence we use had. Otherwise, if we want to use like मैं खाना खा चुका था, so यहाँ had use होगा या ना होगा. See, let me make it very clear again. If you translate from Hindi into English, it becomes very difficult to let people know. अगर आप सिंपल सेंटेंस बोल रहे हैं, आप क्यों बोलेंगे मैं खाना खा चुका था? बिकॉज आप ये बताना चाहते हैं कि कोई काम पहले हुआ और उससे पहले आपके खाना खाने वाला काम हो चुका था. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर स्पीकिंग दिस सेंटेंस. तो अल्टीमेटली तो यही हुआ कि आप दो काम बता रहे हैं पास्ट में, इसलिए यहां पर फिर हैड का ही यूज होगा. पर अगर आप डायरेक्टली किसी को बता रहे हैं कि मैंने खाना खा लिया या मैं खाना खा चुका था, तो आपको फिर बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है हैड एन एक्शन थर्ड फॉर्म. फिर आप तो सेकंड फॉर्म ही यूज करेंगे. देन यू विल ऑलवेज बी यूजिंग ओनली सेकंड फॉर्म. then you will never be using I had zabardasti use nahi kiya jata hai. Had is only used in that case when you want to let people know that two pieces of work happened in the past. जो काम पहले हुआ उसमें had और action की third form लगाई जाती है. जो काम बाद में हुआ उसमें action की second form ही use की जाएगी. So I hope it must be clear. Thank you so much. Others also, those who are joining the classes, please keep asking the questions. And it is always said that a good questioner is a good answerer. A good questioner is a good answerer. Why am I saying this to you? That if you want to be good answerers, if you want to answer the questions what people ask to you, then you should be able to be ask questions from people. Learn how to ask questions. Sometimes things do not click. Now you can start doing from today onwards. Keep a notebook or you have got mobiles. You can write it down. And whenever any question strikes to your mind, write those questions and ask me those questions later on Sundays. Every Sunday I'm going to be live. So I do not need to send you the link. Every Sunday you can come to my channel and you can join me live at 12 o'clock. I will always try to be present. If I am not present in any way, I will inform you. I will message or I will put some post related to it that I am not going to be live on Sunday on at 12 o'clock if I am unable to come live. But if I'm there, so please ask me questions. And please do subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed to this channel so that you can get the notification for the future videos because I'm going to upload a lot of videos. So it will be good for you as well. So I hope you must have understood the use of had. Please ask questions, whatever comes to your mind. This time I'm asking you to ask me a lot of questions, but next Sunday I would appreciate or be glad to see your questions. So before you ask me questions, I would like to tell you one more thing about expressions in the English language. If you want to make your language impressive, okay, and you want people to uh, appreciate you while speaking in the English language, it is always good that you use expressions in the English language. You can learn some of the expressions which are used day to day, every day, almost every day. For example, if you say there is a world of difference, see, these are commonly used expressions. These are the expressions which we teach in the classes as well. Like in place of saying that there is a huge difference, you can say there is a world of difference. So what happens is by using the expressions, people feel that you have got good command over the English language. So it will be good for listeners as well. And it is clearer for the listeners. So you can start using some expressions like it. There is a world of difference, or you can say, "I feel butterflies in my stomach," in place of saying, "I feel nervous," or "I feel hesitant." I feel butterflies in my stomach. So it has got nothing to do. Like if you remember in starting, I said that I will try to solve the questions. So I, in place of saying I will try to solve the questions, I said I will try to quench the thirst of all the questions what you ask. क्वेंच का मतलब प्यास बुझाना होता है, थर्स्ट प्यास होती है. लेट मी टेल यू सम वोकैबुलरी आल्सो रिलेटेड टू इट. कि जो व्यक्ति अगर प्यासा है वो व्यक्ति थर्स्टी होता है. हम लोगों ने बचपन में अ थर्स्टी क्रो स्टोरी भी सुनी है और पढ़ी है. ज्यादा अगर आप प्यासे हैं तो ड्राई भी बोल सकते हैं, आई एम ड्राई. हालांकि कुछ लोग ये बोलते हैं माई थ्रोट इज ड्राई. या कुछ लोग अगर बहुत ज्यादा प्यासे हैं, इस वक्त आप प्यास बहुत ज्यादा लग रही है, तो आई एम पार्च्ड भी यूज किया जाता है. प्यास बुझाना होता है क्वेंच. Quench the thirst. Please explain the use of would. Can we use instead of will? Yes, we can use. See, would बहुत जगह यूज होता है. पहली बात तो in place of will, would use किया जा सकता है just for giving respect to people. In place of saying I will, I should say would. Whenever you want to give respect to anybody, so in place of using will, you can use would. This is one of the usages. Second would तब यूज होता है जब आप hypothetical imagination करते हैं. If I went to college, I would feel happy. तब यहां पर would यूज किया जाता है. There also you can use would. Would past में भी यूज होता है. अब देखिए would ऐसे बहुत कम वर्ड्स हैं इंग्लिश में जो फ्यूचर में भी यूज होते हैं और पास्ट में भी यूज होते हैं. would पास्ट में भी यूज होता है in place of using used to. एक चीज हमेशा ध्यान रखिएगा, बहुत से लोग used to जो फ्रेज है उसको प्रेजेंट में भी यूज करते हैं डी हटाकर, विच इज रॉन्ग. तो आप लोग ये ध्यान रखिए, यूज्ड टू का यूज पास्ट में ही किया जाता है. तो अगर मैं किसी भी काम को पास्ट में करता था, रेगुलरली किया, अगेन एंड अगेन किया इन द पास्ट, तब मैं आई यूज्ड टू की जगह पर आई वुड भी बोल सकता हूं. अब लोग इसमें कंफ्यूज होते हैं कि सर अगर मान लीजिए किसी ने सिर्फ एक सेंटेंस लिखा, आई वुड गो. ओके, तो आई वुड को कैसे हम लोग मानकर चलेंगे ये पास्ट में है या फ्यूचर में है. देखिए, अगर मान लीजिए कुछ भी इंडिकेशन नहीं दिया गया है दैट इट इज ऑल अबाउट द पास्ट और इट इज अबाउट द फ्यूचर, इसको फिर फ्यूचर में ही कंसिडर किया जाएगा. बट अगर आप ऑलरेडी पास्ट के बारे में कुछ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं और उसके बाद आप बोलते हैं आई वुड डू दिस, देन आप लोगों को ये पता चल जाएगा दैट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द पास्ट. So would is used in place of use will in the future for giving respect to people. Would is used in place of used to in the past, and would is used in hypothetical sentences, imaginary sentences, when you want to tell people that if I were the Prime Minister of India, I would do this or I would do that. तब would use किया जाता है. I hope Radhika ma'am, you must have understood this. Uh, Please make other videos on grammar topics. Ma'am, I have already uploaded a lot of videos. You have not come across to my channel on YouTube. I have already uploaded a lot of videos related to grammar. Just scroll down, you will find a lot of things related to grammar and some topics what you want to make, what you want me to make videos on. You can let me know. I will definitely upload some more videos related to those topics as well. See, it's my duty as well to attend the sessions what you ask, and I always feel happy while answering and while quenching the thirst of yours. But please ask me a lot of questions. I always appreciate when they ask questions, because a questioner becomes a good answerer. That's what I always believe in. Sometimes, we do not ask questions because we feel shy, or we feel hesitant, or we feel butterflies in our stomach. But it's not good. No question in the world is silly unless it hurts somebody. If it hurts somebody, then it is okay. Then also we can understand this thing. We can be apologetic afterwards. But we should start asking questions. Right now, your questions may not be as good as you want to be. or what want them to be. But later, these questions are going to be good. So the more you ask questions, the more you learn. So I hope you all must have understood now. We should wrap up this session today since you do not have question. But next Sunday, please ask me a lot of questions. Prepare some more questions. Whatever you come across, you are not able to answer, you're not able to understand some of the things, please do ask me. I will try to solve. I will also work on your vocabulary, your expressions, your grammar, your pronunciation, your accent, whatever you come across or you are not able to judge, please ask me. See, there are 13 elements of the English language we all should know: grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, expressions, body language, communication skills, personality grooming. And then we have a voice culture course where we always tell people about their accent, pitch, tone, flow, speed, volume. So these are the things which we all need to work on. We only try to work on grammar, vocabulary, but there are other things also for the English language which we should work on. So next Sunday, be ready with the questions. I'll be very happy answering those all questions. Thank you very much for joining me live today. Keep attending the sessions.